Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming along. I'm going to start to play some songs now. We've got a bit of songs to get through, so my attitude is you're already here, so let's start. And last year was a bit of a difficult year for me in some ways. I had to spend a lot of time on some musical administration, which dragged on for about a year. The upside of that was I realised how many shows I'd done over the years, and I also realised that I started performing as Soursob Bob 25 years ago. Like I say, that was last year, so we're already actually into number 26 now. So my first show was at the Tivoli Hotel in the front bar before they knocked it down. And subsequently to that, I played a lot of shows at the Rhino Room. Anyway, these first couple of songs are songs I would have played at my first show 25 years ago. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to play, like, chronologically what I've done over the last 25 years. You might not like all of it. You might like the older stuff better than the new stuff, in which case there's some older stuff. And then I'll go through some different phases. Hopefully you like some of it. And then I'm going to end with a group. So I'm going to start solo, because that's how I started. And then I'll introduce the concepts as I go along. And then end with a few songs that I've just finished recording. This song is still kind of relevant because nowadays people need to get into a Ford Ranger or a Ram to go to Woolworths. And in the old days I thought it was silly that they used to get into a four-wheel drive in a Minka. Well, I had to leave the city and all its grim faces, my pointless job, and all the nutcases had to get away to some distant places, maybe go to Queensland, see the camel races, just like Captain Starlight and Strzelecki. I just want to be sitting around the campfire having brekkie, maybe take a friend for company and to help me put some petrol in my Mazda 323. So I went on holiday with my mate Jeffrey. We went to Birdsville and we went to the Dig Tree. Things were going well on our trip out back, till I took a turn down a smaller track and he said, "Hold on, Robert, this reenactment has gone far enough for me. And at least Burke and Wills had camels and they weren't being driven off by you to die in your Mazda 323. Well, it ain't like Jeffrey to be so rude, but he said he didn't like my whole attitude. He said he didn't like the billy-eyed brood, and he said he hadn't liked any of the food, and I said, "Hold it right there, Jeffrey, this has gone about far enough for me. And at least Burke and Wills had camels and they didn't have to listen to all your whinging in a Mazda 323. Yeah, so I gave Jeff just a bit more lip. He wouldn't talk to me for the rest of the trip, and it's like that every time that I go away. I gotta find a new friend for every holiday, and sometimes I wonder if they're just too far from home or if it's something to do with me. Couldn't be. I decided it resulted from all the jealousy and envy that my passengers felt from a Mazda 323. And former leadership qualities. So go and get yourself a four-wheel drive, air-conditioned with a fridge inside, and you can cross the deserts and the rivers wide, take snapshots and slides for when you arrive, and stop and have a drink out in the mink with other members of your nomadic tribe. But if you really want to see the country, either get yourself some camels or come with me In my Mazda 323 roaming free, only way to be Datsun 180B. If you really want to see the country and get yourself some camels, or come with me. In my Mazda 323. Hey Nigel, can you turn off any delay or echo or something you got on there? Because I don't mind hearing myself once, but I don't like hearing myself when I'm saying something else. It's distracting for me. Once again, this is a still relevant song if Test cricket would go for 5 days, like it used to in the old days when it was a well-paced game. At the cricket the other day, with my mates drinking beer on the hill, someone scored a run in the morning and I went for my first refill. Threw my cups at the ladies as they passed by to show my appreciation, and the game rolled on and the sun burned down to my pleasant intoxication. Some bloke got out a tennis ball and I was chucking it around with my mates, and a policeman, he came up to me and says he wants to escort me to the gate. Well, the cricket might have been slow that day, but it's the principle of the thing. Since when is singing old MacDonald's farm, oink oink, been an arrestable sin? I said I wasn't going home till stumps, and there was nothing illegal about that. But they dragged me down the hill, burned me bum on the grass, and I lost my Greg Chappell hat. They took me to the police caravan. I thought was only there to keep their drinks cool. And they handcuffed me and they sat me down. There wasn't even an esky there at all, and I saw more action in that van than I'd seen for the rest of the day. There was some big hits, a 4 and a 6, and I tried some defensive play. Facing Devon Malcolm at the river end, it might be tough trying to fend off the short pitch stuff, but it's no more tough than fending off 3 cops once you're inside their van wearing handcuffs. Then I recognised one of the police from old days at Sunday school. I reminded him of our old acquaintance and asked him if he remembered the golden rule. I once entered this song in the Scala songwriting competition. They told me that the ending was anticlimactic. The ending's coming up, folks. I thought it was Shakespearean, full of pathos. And he asked me if I remembered throwing the tennis ball. I wrote this song in outback Queensland after visiting the camel races up at Boulia, which is south of Mount Isa, and then driving home through Junda. Support your local brewery. Nowadays at the Bureau of Meteorology, they have Spanish for the heating and cooling of the sea. Well, I don't speak no Spanish, but I know what it's about. Up here it's several years of rain and several years of drought. We lived off the sheep's back for so bloody long, but like everybody else, I guess I'm wearing nylon, which stands for New York, London, and not for Backerburg, where some are gonna have to sell or find some other work. And I feel like a beer for breakfast. Won't somebody pass me a green can if you can? Won't somebody pass me a green can? I feel like a beer for breakfast. Won't somebody pass me a green can if you can? Won't somebody pass me a green can? We started with convicts and the Yanks with slavery, and from such dubious beginnings we are both now free. So we're free to follow blindly anytime they want a war, 'cause they're our strongest ally, we don't need to know what for. We've got our Anzac Legend and we've got our Southern Cross. We've still got lonely swagmen left to tramp and doss. We've got the next Olympics, it is our second one. We've got a boy who can swim and we've got a girl who can run, and I feel like a beer for breakfast. Won't somebody pass me a green can if you can? Won't somebody pass me a green can? I feel like a beer for breakfast. I can't face a steak sandwich yet again. Won't somebody pass me a green can? I love a sunburnt country, a land of sweeping plains, of ragged mountain ranges, of droughts and flooding rains. I love her far horizons and I love her jewel sea. Her beauty and her terror is the wide brown land for me, core of my heart, my country, her pitiless blue sky. Where sick at heart around us we would watch the cattle die, and then the grey clouds gather and we can bless again the drumming of an army and a steady soaking rain. And I feel like a beer for breakfast. Won't somebody pass me a green can if you can? Won't somebody pass me a green can? I feel like a beer for breakfast. Won't somebody pass me a green can if you can? Won't somebody pass me a green can? I feel like a beer for breakfast. I'm a South Australian in Queensland, drinking Victorian, and I feel like a beer for breakfast. Won't somebody pass me a green can if you can? Won't somebody pass me a green can if you can? Won't somebody pass me a green can if you can? Won't somebody pass me a green can if you can? Won't somebody pass me a green can ad nauseam? Won't somebody pass me a green can? That was about a few things under a bit of a patriotic, alcoholic guise. Climate change is what it was mostly about. This next one is a little more parochial, an epistake of parochialism, but the important thing is in the third verse where I say I don't subscribe to the idea that what's bigger is best, and people have a habit of thinking if they're not New York, it's not important. Or in this country, you know, if you're in New Zealand or Tasmania, it's not important. Or if you're not in Sydney, it's not important. And particularly if you're not in Melbourne, it's not important. Very important to drink coffee in Melbourne, apparently. But that's all very well, but to me it's a problem when it gets into our own psyche and we buy into it and happy to denigrate Adelaide. I don't tolerate that type of thing at parties or elsewhere. She said something about my dress sense. I asked her, what's your problem? And she said, anyone who wears a beanie where I come from is a bogan. So I asked her where she came from, and she replied from Sydney, and I said, right, that would explain why you're so beautiful and trendy. But I don't want to hear about your Sydney class system. I come from South Australia and we're all free settlers here. I don't want to hear about your Sydney class system. I wear a beanie when it's cold to warm my ears, and not today. I wear a beanie when it's cold to warm my ears. When I'm sprawling on the fertile plains beneath the lofty ranges and singing for me supper Despite apparent dangers like the houses down at Henley Beach slipping slowly into the ocean, we've got to truck the sand in to counteract the tidal motion. I'm surrounded by a wheat belt and a new patchwork of vines. We ripped the mallee from the paddock, put in half a dozen pines, and north of that there's saltbush goiters lining a coal mine. And Mike Rand reckons we should all convert to Eastern Standard Time, 'cause he's a thinker, but I don't want to hear about your Sydney class system. I come from South Australia and we're all free settlers here. I don't want to hear about your Sydney class system. I wear a beanie when it's cold to warm my ears. I wear a beanie when it's cold to warm my ears. Well, the east side of this country's overloading and in a hurry. So much they're gonna cause a fault line and they're gonna drain the Murray. But I don't subscribe to the idea that what's bigger is best, 'cause they look to California and they think they're looking west. But the festival theatre's like the Sydney Opera House, only it's better. And West Beach is like Bondi or Manly, only it's wetter. And Adelaide Cup's like the Melbourne Cup, only we have so much fun. Sometimes we'll take the holiday and the race don't even get run. And I don't want to hear about your Sydney class system. I come from South Australia and we're all free settlers here. I don't want to hear about your Sydney class system. I wear a beanie when it's cold to warm my ears. I wear a beanie when it's cold to warm my ears. Emma, Luca, whereabouts are you? Good. Whereabouts is Linton Johnston? Good. Well, I'm going to play this song and then maybe I'll do some songs with you. That was off my second album, so is this. I said, gee, I'm glad I ended up with you, and not with one of those other ladies who was at the Christmas barbecue. Well, I meant that as a compliment, but somehow she took it all wrong, and she said, right, so you mean you would have just hitched up with anyone? And that doesn't make me feel very special. You don't make me feel very special. I said I didn't realise it was my job to go around making you feel special. If you want to feel so special, why don't you go to a special school? Well, things started to go bad from then on for no apparent reason. And everything I said to make it right just made it more wrong. And then she brought up my mistakes, all of the ones I'd made before. Like the time when she'd introduced me to her sister, and I said, wow, gee, she's nice. How much younger is your sister than you? And she said, well, I am 28 and she is 42. And then I tried to avert the bad vibes I could sense begin, and I said, don't take that bad. You know, I'm attracted to older women. And she said, that doesn't make me feel too special. You don't really make me feel too special. I said I didn't realise it was my job to go around making you feel special. If you want to feel young and special, why don't you go to a special school? And what's so good about special anyway? Like at breakfast time, what's special about Special K? They have specials at the supermarket when the food's gone off and the due date's past it. And Bruce McAvaney used to say it was special for someone to kick the ball and someone else to mark it. So what's so good about that anyway? There's nothing wrong with being normal. I spent my whole life trying to be normal. I just want to be normal and maybe a touch informal. There is nothing wrong with being normal. And that's when she said, look, I know you think you're bloody special. You just write stupid songs, but you think that makes you special. You think you're so special, but there's one thing you should know. I've heard better songs than you write written by a potato, and that potato wasn't even very special. It just considered itself to be a normal vegetable. If you're so special, what are you doing playing here on a Saturday night? Sure, the audience, they might applaud, but it's just 'cause they're polite. They have anyone along there. It's just like an open mic, and that didn't make me feel very special. She'd hurt my feelings, and I didn't feel very special. So after playing a few gigs solo, I started playing gigs with Bridget McDowell on violin. Bridget subsequently has moved to Melbourne and couldn't be here today. She's got 2 children over there. But I started playing songs with Bridget on violin and songs with Linton here on keyboards, and we've recorded a lot of my second album like that. And oh yes. When Emma's on stage, there's no room for my drinks. But luckily we can accommodate both. So these next couple of songs I haven't done for a while, they're actually songs that Linton wrote. Consequently, they're a bit more thoughtful than some of the other songs we've just heard. Said a whole new life was about to start. Like I've been holding her back too long. She's lived the last 20 years of her life all wrong, and now my girlfriend's leaving me for Jesus. My girlfriend's leaving me for Jesus. She said he came to her in a vision. I was in the other room watching television. Now she's as happy can be. It's as if she was blind, but now she can see. And so my girlfriend's leaving me for Jesus. My girlfriend's leaving me for Jesus. She said it can't be like it was before. She still loves me, it's just that she loves God more. I better put on my best brave face. I can't offer a saving grace, and so my girlfriend's leaving me for Jesus. Girlfriend's leaving me for Jesus. She said it was nothing I'd done. She's just fallen in love with God's own son. I don't know whether to laugh or to cry. I can't compete with a fella who's been crucified, and now my girlfriend's leaving me for Jesus. Girlfriend's leaving me for Jesus. My girlfriend's leaving me for Jesus. My girlfriend's leaving me for Jesus. Stole my girlfriend. could have anyone he wants. I just want my girlfriend. Is that too much to ask? God? Girl at the jeans shop when I was 16. Where might we be now? Had we have been? I bought 3 pairs of seconds jeans and 2 belts that I couldn't afford. And the only words I spoke to you was, do you have these in cord? Could you get me these in cord? I think I'd like these in cord. On my own that day, I saw you over by the stand. You just finished serving someone else. You asked me if I needed a hand, and then you measured up my hips for me, and from my hips down to the floor. I think you knew what you was doing then. I think you'd done it before. You must have done it before. I think you'd done it before. Cotton drill, stretch denim and corduroy. Cotton drill, stretch denim and corduroy. Standing in the change room with my clothes all in a pile, and you asked me what the fit was like and did I like the style, and then I walked out with my first pair on and you tidied up a thread. I was looking at you in the mirror, and at the way you held your head, at the way you held your head, I like the way you held your head. I thought maybe I'd crack a joke and look you in the eye. I was gonna say I liked you, at least I was gonna try, and maybe ask you to the drive-ins out on Tolly Road. We could go on my dad's Daihatsu and forget about the show, and forget about the show, and maybe go with the flow. Cotton drill, stretch denim and corduroy. Cotton drill, stretch denim and corduroy. Well, I'd spent my birthday money and all the rest of what I'd saved, but I couldn't break my silence. I guess good fortune belongs to the brave. By the time I'd got me courage up, rode me bike back to the store, they said you just finished up your last shift and you don't work there anymore. They said you just knocked off at 4 and you don't work there anymore. Cotton drill, stretch denim and corduroy. Cotton drill, stretch denim and corduroy. Cotton drill, suede, stretch denim and corduroy. Cotton drill, stretch denim and corduroy. Girl at the jean shop when I was 16. Where might we be now? Had we have been? Which I don't know the answer to that question, and that's why it wasn't resolved chord-wise. Look, this next song I haven't played a lot. In fact, probably for, if this is my 25-year show, I might not have played for 24 years, or 23 years. This is a song that was on my second record, and I played it at the Rhino Room, which had kind of devolved from a more artistic place into a comedy venue, and Joe Coventry was organising the night, said after I'd played this song that, other songs we can all relate to, you know, it's good you have songs that everyone can relate to. Whereas that song you played about being a weed controller maybe didn't quite fit the bill. And sometimes you take on things that people say to you. However, at my 25th anniversary show, I'm going to try playing it again and see if it works. Particularly because I have some of my friends and colleagues from the environmental weed control industry here. So that if none of the rest of you understand, at least this one's for them. And it's my day job's about protecting native vegetation and killing weeds, and you kind of start thinking of native vegetation as being good, and other plants that you call weeds as being bad. But sometimes if you think about it too much late at night, it's troublesome. What gives me the right to say one plant is good and one plant is bad? And what gives me the right to kill a perfectly healthy plant in the name of some kind of nationalism? This one's called Weedmaster Duo. That's because of the two salts in glyphosate, not because we're a trio. He walks the hills on patrol, a vegetation Nazi, weed control. He's a nationalist when it comes to plants, he's got no time for immigrants. A tool of the state, he's been taught to hate with a backpack full of glyphosate. Annihilate, defoliate, exterminate, revegetate, into war, into battle, on behalf of Golden Wattle. Volunteered and conscripted, Hakea and eucalyptus. So massacre that woody weed before the bastard goes to seed. I got no time for hearts that bleed and trees that sap and scream. Lebensraum, we need more room. Make a clean sweep with the broom. I got no remorse when it comes to gauze and blackberries in the watercourse. But maybe in the years to come I'll talk about what we have done in primary school histories and sorry day assemblies. Mother Earth, she justifies who can live and who must die. It's not for us to question why her orders and grand visions. My conscience is clear. I sleep well at night. And when the plants talk to you, it's our policy not to reply. I recommend reading Crime and Punishment if you like to read. But if not, this song is a simple summary. I'm not saying it's as good as what Dostoevsky wrote. It's a very brief summary. It involves an axe. 2, 3, 4. What do I need? I need a feed. I'm going out of my mind. I'm going crazy. What do I need? Vitamin C. Going out of my mind. I'm going crazy. Raskolnikov, 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 Raskolnikov. What do you do for money, honey? How do you get kopecks? I'm going crazy. What do you do for money, honey? How do you get kopecks? I'm going crazy. Raskolnikov, 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 Raskolnikov. What do I need? I need an axe. Must relax, I'm going crazy. What do I need? I need an axe. I must relax, I'm going crazy. Raskolnikov, 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 Raskolnikov. What do they need? They have no lead. Was not greed, I'm going crazy. What do they need? They have no leader. Was not greed, I'm going crazy. Raskolnikov, 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 Raskolnikov. I walk the streets but I can't find a place to hide in my money. Snagging doubts behind my weakness. Maybe I'm not up to greatness. I have done this horrid thing. Now it seems like just a dream. Is this real or apparition? Cracking under their suspicion. Locked in the room with an axe in my hand. And they are out in the stairwell. Knock, knock, knocking. Blood, blood, blood in the corner. Drip, drip, dripping. And I'm locked in the room with an axe in my hand. So the theme of that, there's poverty, a lot of poverty in Crime and Punishment. Linton discussed this with me the other night. There's a bit of poverty in this next song, which is called Centrelink. Not so much poverty in terms of social welfare, but poverty in terms of options for meeting people. But Centrelink. I got no form to put in like you might think. I'm just heading down there, cause there's a big pool of women with time on their hands. Some are maybe looking for a man. Some probably even went to my high school, Mowbray High. Now they're in the line, they're in the loop. They're from my socio-economic group. Lord knows how long some of them have been waiting. I can check out their personal profiles, their hobbies and their interests, find out how many training credits they've been accumulating. Ba 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 da ba 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 da ba. She tells me she gets the pension for reasons that she'd rather not mention. And I say, hey, that's alright with me. Cause we've all had tough times in our life. I'm not exactly looking for a wife, just someone who'll give me a bit of company. I think I'll go do some work for the dough. You know, I find it soothing for my soul. Not cause I want to meet some mutual obligation. I just want to meet new girls, maybe pick up some new skills, maybe start myself a new relationship. Ba 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 da ba 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 da something different about her demeanour. Her clothes were nicer, her skin was cleaner. She was behind the counter, that's how I could tell that she had a job. But she said, I got work to do, I can't spend all morning talking with you. Besides that, I think you're a lazy slob, Soursob Bob. Well, generally the staff are most helpful, but every now and then you'll come across a real bitch. Seems that's what had happened to me this time, I don't deserve it. I ain't no Jesus, ain't no saint, I'm gonna lodge an official complaint. Maybe that'll remind her to be more helpful next time around. Ba 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 da ba 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 da ba 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 da ba. Some of you may remember Wolfgang, who ran an art gallery up in Birdsville. Most of you won't, but my friend Wolfgang had he was a great watercolour painter in Birdsville, and he had a gallery that was called the Blue Poles Gallery because his, they had blue poles on the pergola, and consequently, this song is called Blue Poles. My friend Guillaume once said you should name your song after what's in the chorus or the first line in the song, which is a thoroughly good recommendation if you want people to know what the song is. This song's called Blue Poles. It doesn't appear anywhere in the song. It's a mistake I made. To be fair, I wrote this song before, Guillaume gave me that advice, and ever since then, I think you'll find my song titles aren't as artistic, and they're a bit more straightforward and to the point. Anyway, it's not really a song about the art gallery. It's a song about me going up there to play a show for Wolfgang. And personal circumstances, like my wife at the time hooking up with his son, meant that the art gallery launch was cancelled. A bit unfortunate because people were coming from a long way. I don't know why I'm playing this and team talking about this. Perhaps this is cathartic for me. I don't know. I thought I was over it. But central districts for my whole life, and the first year that they won the flag I was left by my wife. So does that make it a good year? I drove alone for 2 days up the Birdsville track to play some songs there for a friend and to bring her back. It's a good drive, I don't mind the drive to Birdsville, but it's too far for some news. Gang said you can't sing when you're crying, you can't sing when you're crying. Of your life, the moment that you die, it might as well have taken place in the blink of an eye. It's also immaterial. We're living in the moment, and once that moment's gone, holding on to memories, or else we're moving on. Maybe we're just stuck in some phase of denial. Anyway, can't cry when I'm singing. I can't cry when I'm singing. I can't cry when I'm singing. I can't cry. Can't cry when I'm singing. 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 Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Linton. Linton's work is done for the night. Go and talk to him at the bar. And myself and Emma will be up after we've had a 20-minute break and start off the second half like that to represent the 23 years I've been playing with Emma Luca. naked woman, what are you doing here in my bed? Have you come here to seduce me? And she said, I'm not naked, not if you look carefully. I said, you're naked enough to count as being naked. And you're not Carolyn, 'cause Carolyn would never do something like that. And besides that, she was blonder than you are. And she said, no, and you're not Dennis, 'cause Dennis would never speak to me like that. And besides that, he was darker than you are. So did you have the hots for this Carolyn, she asked. And I said, don't speak about her like that. So she asked, was she someone you cared for? And I said, don't speak about her in cliches. And she said, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to understand. And I said, I don't think you can understand. Just don't talk about her, your words, they only defile her. You're not worthy, and you're not Carolyn, 'cause Carolyn would never do something like that. And besides that, she was blonder than Ira. And she said, no, and you're not Dennis, 'cause Dennis would never speak to me like that. And besides that, he was always very particular about his personal hygiene. Naked woman, how do you do? What are you doing here in my bed? Have you come here selling ice cream? Breakfast at Tiffany's, breakfast at Mel, knees, breakfast at Stephanie's, together. Breakfast at Gregory's, breakfast at Tim, Fee's, breakfast at McDonald's, together. I've recorded over the years a few instrumental pieces that I've written, and recorded some instrumental pieces with Emma that Emma's written, and not a big part of my repertoire. I know we did an EP of only instrumentals and launched it at the Grace. I thought it went great. And then someone came up and said, we don't go to see Soursob Bob to see instrumentals. Well, you know. Screw you. You do something different? You want me to play Mazda 323 100 times in a row? I can do that for you. Anyway, we've just written a new instrumental. It's called the Clumsy Klezmer. All right, I wrote this song. But Emma gets some of the credit because I don't actually play any violin on this song. She just plays what I tell her to, though, note for note, accurately intoned. It's called the Clumsy Klezmer. Talk about cultural appropriation. Clumsy, well, yeah, that's fair enough. Klezmers is like European Jewish music, and I'm probably not entitled to write them. Sorry. If you own the copyright to klezmers, It does have the KK alliteration, and that might have other bad connotations too. Anyway, here we go. 2, 3, 4. I'm burning my bridges to keep myself warm, and the night will be cold when the night is long, and the sky is full warm and there will be a storm, and I'm burning my bridges to keep myself warm. And the senses shut down when you're in so much pain. You can experience a total eclipse of the brain, and the emptiness inside now stretches above. You know, this is the dark side of the moon of love, and I'm burning my bridges to keep myself warm. Those things I once cared for now tattered and torn. They say out of the ashes a new life is born. And I'm burning the bridges to keep myself warm. Burning bridges, burning bridges, burning bridges, burning bridges. Old promises made and allegiances sworn. They all count for nothing, they've all been withdrawn. And any agreement, consider it gone. 'Cause I'm burning my bridges to keep myself warm. Yes, I'm burning my bridges to keep myself warm. Girl I adored now treats me with scorn. So it's time for evolution to lay through reform. And I'm burning my bridges to keep myself warm. Burning bridges, burning bridges, burning bridges, burning bridges. I'm burning my bridges to keep myself warm. Like a convict set free, like a sinner reborn. You know, I cannot go back, I can only go on. 'Cause I burn all my bridges to keep myself warm. Just to keep myself warm. One, two, yes? One, two, three, four. Well, let me tell you a story. It goes a little bit like this one here. And there once were two brothers with different mothers, but their father was the same. Both dodgy blokes, one was dealing in coke and the other was dealing cocaine. Well, the soft drink vendor had a girlfriend called Glenda, reckoned she was the pick of the bunch. And the other drug dealer had his own Sheila, and one day they all went out for lunch. They all went out for lunch one sunny day on the banks of the mighty River Torrens, in a small kiosk that is just down that way. Well, I don't want to cast aspersions on their drinking habits, because none of them was alcoholics. But after a few drinks, their spirits rose, and it's then that they began to frolic. And the highest spirited frolicker amongst them was the biggest of the brothers, called Jim. And that's when he grabbed his brother and both of the girlfriends, and he threw them into the muddy waters of the mighty River Torrens, into the muddy waters of the mighty River Torrens one sunny day. Jim went back to his legitimate business, but next day a body was found. Lo and behold, it was that of his brother who mysteriously had drowned. Well, the case was hard. They called in Scotland Yard to sort out this tricky death. And though no one was caught, they wrote a real good report which said he couldn't hold his breath. He couldn't hold his breath in the mighty River Torrens. He couldn't hold his breath in the muddy waters of the mighty River Torrens one sunny day. Well, the moral of the story is clear for those of you who want to hear it. Just don't go frolicking down by the river with those who are in higher spirits, because accidents can happen, yeah, just like what happened here. You can rest assured they wrote a real good report. It will make everything clear, clear as the muddy waters of the mighty River Torrens, clear as the muddy waters of the mighty River Torrens one sunny day. Thank you. Hey, Snooks Levy, Snooks Levy. Where are you, man? Is Snooks in the audience? Well, I'd like to thank... Oh, here comes Snooks. That's very good. Very, very good. I'd like to thank all the musicians playing with me tonight and Nigel on sound. And but beyond that, I'd like to thank all the musicians who might not be playing with me tonight but have helped me in other ways, including Jaywar and Guillaume, John Dingo Van Bowman, Flick Rashid, and especially Jason Siffis on drums in Kelsh. He can't be here tonight, but I'm sure there are other people who've helped me, Casey. If I've omitted you, I'm sorry. But I met Snooks because I don't think I'd really ever met you till I needed a harmonica player, had I? It was just purely because I wanted something from you. And I'm talking about the harmonica at this stage.
See, I thought he was going to come out and and tell everybody.
That's the second song, man. I'm just going to move this because Emma's not here anymore, so I can go over here now. Better. More room. Snooks, you got enough room?
Plenty
of room. So I need a harmonica for this next song, which is called... Kim Lukomsky is someone else I'd like to thank. We recorded this song at Kim's place. Kimbo, as we know him, sorry. Kimbo. It's in G, yeah. This one's called Haymaker. And here we go. 2, 3, 4. It was near the end of winter, and the sky became a blue ceiling. I woke up feeling good again, yeah, that's the way that I was feeling. I said, it's time we had a holiday. Went did some freewheeling. So pack your picnic baskets and let's drive up to New Zealand. But 50 k's this side of Ballarat, the radiator started leaking water. And you tell me that you wanted a Big Mac, so does your darling daughter. What am I supposed to do? Just drive my car till it blows up? Just so you two can feed your face and then throw up and then throw up. So I said, that's it, I'm leaving now. I'll see you again someday. I'm going to walk across this paddock here and go make myself some hay. You can't do that, you accuse me, because you don't know how. I said, I best go quickly then, so I can feed the cow. I got to feed the cow. What cow? You screamed hysterically. I said, what a one for your Big Mac. I got to go feed him up before you to attack. Because right now it does not seem fair, it does not seem right at all. Because you're big and really fierce, and the cow, he's still quite small, he's still quite small. So I left it quite abruptly then, as soon as I finished with my reply. Because I wanted to go make some hay whilst the sun was still shining. But you knew that I'd come back for you, yeah, I'd return without fail. 6 months later I did come back and I was carrying a bale. This was my moment of great triumph, and you knew and you applauded. And for yourself you'd been patient, now your patience was rewarded. Because I bought your food even though it might not be exactly what you'd ordered. So you ate the hay and the cow went hungry, but avoided being slaughtered. Yeah, it avoided being slaughtered. Well, the moral of this story, yes, the lesson from this tale is bend your knees, don't strain your back whilst you're lifting up your bale, and be strong and persevere, although your first attempt might fail. And don't drive to New Zealand when you can Get there by rail, get there by rail. Well done, Snooksy. A, key of A. So yeah, like I say, I met Snooks and we did that, and I got to know him a bit afterwards, and he was actually my designated close contact during COVID, and consequently we wrote this song together called Corona Boner. One, two, three, four. Well, the first principle of quarantine is restriction of movement, if you know what I mean. That might sound like a simple plan, but it's something Australians don't always understand. And I've been working really hard as a security guard, Corona Boner. Corona Boner, working really hard as a security guard, Corona Boner. Corona Boner, yeah. Well, I had no experience and got no training, learned it all on the job, but I'm not complaining. There were so many rules to which I had to conform. Once I got myself a brand new uniform with epaulets and fringe benefits. The girl in room 9 looked 1 in a million. How was I to know that she had the Brazilian variant? Genomic sequence. And I was working really hard as a security guard, Corona Boner. Corona Boner, working really hard as a security guard, Corona Boner. Corona Boner, yeah. Well, what happens on the night shift stays on the night shift. What happens on the day shift stays on the day shift. What happened on the 3rd floor stayed on the 3rd floor. And no one's keeping score about the 5th floor. But it turns out I didn't have immunity, and neither did the rest of the community. But I was working really hard as a security guard, Corona Boner. Corona Boner, working really hard as a security guard, Corona Boner. Corona Boner, working in the coal mine, going down, down. Working in a coal mine, whoops, about to slip down. Working in a coal mine, going down, down. Working in a coal mine, whoops, about to slip down. Working in a coal mine, going down, down. Working in a coal mine, whoops, about to slip down. Working in a coal mine, going down, down. Working in a coal mine, whoops, about to slip down. Band, we're up next. Thanks, Snooks. Let's do this song called Bar Black Sheep. 1, 2, 3, 4. This year my life has gone to little pieces. I don't get to see my nephew no more, nor my nieces, and both my wives have restraining orders on me, but they're happy to see each other. They have afternoon tea with my mother. One of them's been sleeping with my brother, and I've been living in the long grass, living in the long grass, living in the long, long, long grass, living in the long grass, living in the long grass, living in the long, long, long grass. It's just a matter of class, living in the long grass. But I'm not going to be here forever. I'm going to get my act together. Going to quit the drink and and be healed by the weather. And meanwhile, time to think, take it easy, take it slower. Don't have to worry about eviction no more, just about the council mower. And I've been living in the long grass, living in the long grass, living in the long, long, long grass. Living in the long grass, living in the long grass, living in the long, long, long grass. It's just a matter of class, living in the long grass. In times of crisis, you find out on whom you can depend. And for a while last week, I thought mosquitoes were my only friends. Then a mate left for Byron Bay, gave me her old that's and you. Now I could sleep in the back of the tray. It's one better than sleeping in the boot. And I've been living in the long grass, living in the long grass, living in the long, long, long grass. Living in the long grass, living in the long grass, living in the long, long, long grass. Living in the long grass, living in the long grass, living in the long, long, long grass. Living in the long grass, living in the long grass, living in the long, long, long grass. Just a matter of class, living in the long grass. Sweet home Casuarina, where the skies are so blue. Sweet home Casuarina, Lord, I'm coming home to you, coming home right now. I've been living in the long, living in the long, living in the long grass. Living in the long, living in the long, living in the long grass. Living in the long, living in the long, living in the long grass. Living in the long, living in the long, living in the long grass. It's just a matter of class.
Just a matter of
living in the long grass. Thank you, Sixty. Thank you very much. Yeah, we're on now. Oh yeah, let's just get rid of this. Just get rid of it and just chuck it off. Can you just smash the chair over there somewhere? In a moment of rock and roll. Yeah, give it to Rob. Give it to Rob.
Give it to Rob. Rob. Thanks, Rob.
Pearl. Yep. Where's Matt Kelch? Ah, good. He should join us too. So I just recorded a bunch of new songs with this lineup. So we got to mix it and stuff, and maybe we'll release it to the world because there's not enough Soursob Bob recordings out there, as far as I'm concerned. There was a bit of debate about it around the community, whether Soursob Bob was finished or not, or relevant. But, you know, there's another CD coming out, so that answers that question. Oh, yeah, could you pass one over? Yeah, pass one over that way. There's two of them. This is Matt Kelch, ladies and gentlemen, from the greatest rock and roll band in South Australia since Cold Chisel, which was called Kelchie. I'm not only going to move the drinks, I've got to move me. Hey, I thought this was a new genre, or at least I was trying to market it as a new genre of grunge folk, this next song. So. One, two, three, four. My life's been meandering into a stagnant hole, draining away. Gotta try to find some way to regain control of my day. So from this moment on, you're gonna notice changes. 'Cause if I die this week, don't wanna be ashamed of me. And I've been sick for a while now, it's given me some time to think about the direction my life has been moving to. And you're always well informed, you probably heard even before me. Don't pull no punches now, I wanna deal in brutal honesty. So from this moment on, I'm gonna be ruthless, now I'm without roof. Not gonna be useless, and that's the truth. I'm gonna be ruthless, and now I'm without roof. I'm totally ruthless. After all my plans fell through, I spent New Year's Eve all on my own, plotting. Just called on a few old friends to make sure none of them was sitting round at home and known like losers, plotting for a different kind of new year. Plotting for a different kind of new year. Well, we're born alone and we die alone. In between, we're just kidding ourselves. Not gonna do it anymore. Giving up on the tooth fairies and elves. Stop watching television. Stop wanting the truth. Giving up on Collingwood. Most of all, I've given up on Ruth. So from this moment on, I'm gonna be ruthless, now I'm without root. Not gonna be useless, and that's the truth. I'm gonna be ruthless, now I'm without root. I'm totally ruthless. I've been sick for a while now, it's given me some time to think. This next one was on my first album. This is a reinvention of it. We're good? 1, 2, 3, 4. I know a girl, she has an earring in a place where you'd think there'd be too much feeling of an earring. And I know a man, I don't know how he can, I don't know why he does, it must be for the feeling of the earring. Tell me, how do you eat, how do you sleep, how do you talk, how do you walk with your earring? Tell me, how do you breathe, how do you breastfeed, I must repeat, how do you eat with your earring? My testicles need, my testicles need, my testicles need. Come and pierce me with an earring. My testicles need, my testicles need. It's a fashion statement, not a human rights violation. With an earring. Know a girl, she has an earring in a place where you'd think there'd be too much feeling for an earring. Too much feeling for an earring. Ouch. This is a new one. When she goes to the shops, you get to read about it on Facebook. And the information's up before the end of the shopping trip. When she gets back from the shop, she's got to have a nana nap. I know all about that, because she posted about it before she had a kip. And when she goes on a date, you get to read about it on Facebook. The information's up by the end of the day. Apparently the night turned into one big disappointment. Apparently he didn't have much to say. When she goes out for a meal, it's on Facebook. Even before dessert is served. When she gets into a fight, then that's all over Facebook in all its detail. And everything they got and what they deserve. When she goes on a date, you get to read about it on Facebook. The information's up by the end of the day. Apparently the night turned into one big disappointment. He's a busy man, he didn't have time to stay. When it's a sunny day, it's on Facebook. Even before it's starting to rain. And when there's hail in the garden, you can see it on Facebook before it melts. When it's sunny again. And when she goes on a date, you get to read about it on Facebook. The information's up by the end of the day. Apparently the night turned into one big disappointment. She thought she had him on the hook, but then he swam away. And these are lonely nights, my friend, my friend. These are lonely nights, my friend, my brand new friend. But if you make a public spectacle of your life, you got no right to complain if it makes people stare. So if you don't want people talking about what it looks like, maybe don't lay everything bare. These are lonely nights, my friend, my friend. These are lonely nights, my friend, my brand new friend, my brand new friend. These are lonely nights, my friend, my friend. These are lonely nights, my friend, my brand new friend request. Pearl on bass, ladies and gentlemen. The one musician I haven't introduced yet tonight. Got the phone? This next one is a Batters song.
This is a human strategy that is worked on all sorts of people using it on just things you can say the business lots of the Oxford laws and the lords and the vandals who yes, a couple of centuries past. Some sounds using a recipe.
Two-minute noodles are in my thoughts. 2-minute noodles are in my mind. 2-minute noodles are on my trousers. That's why I've left them behind. Get me a fork, get me a fork. The CIA has put a radio in my head. Malcolm Turnbull and Ida Buttrose are conspiring to take over the world. It's true, and there's a hidden message in every Beatles song telling me everything. And I'll tell you all about it just as soon as you get me a fork. The CIA has put a radio in my head, and all the food around here has been poisoned except 2-minute noodles. Had another 7 packets today. I alienated the last of my friends this week. They're giving too much of the game away. Get me a fork, or any sharp object will do. I've got to get this radio out of my head, 'cause they can hear my thoughts. They can hear my thoughts. They're recording every single word that I think. But I'm refusing to do what they're instructing me to do. My sanity's poised on the brink, I'm telling ya. Going electric with the mobile phone app. Judas. One, two, three, four. We're an independent market research company, much like your independent country. We just like to ask you a few questions, won't take a minute of your time. Hope it's convenient and you're comfy. How do you like your news presented? How do you like despots removed? What did you think of the fridge magnet promotion? How could your service be improved? How do you spend your peace dividend once your fuel tanks have been filled? Where are you thinking of taking your next overseas holiday? How would you like the Arabs killed? Welcome to the new American century. Welcome to the new American century. You spend your time committing acts of terrorism and telling me you're fighting terrorism. You spend your time committing acts of genocide and telling me you're fighting terrorism. We should have closed down Pine Gap years ago, but it's only now that we plainly see the implications of being an occupied country with no independent foreign policy. So we bring you now an important message from the Prime Minister. Ask not what your country could do for you, ask what it could do for America. And welcome to the new American century. Welcome to the new American century. You hear voices in your head speaking to you about an axis of evil, incessant and clear, a new world order, more like some kind of psychotic disorder based on your control and fear. How many peoples must suffer subjugation once you've given them a dose of your liberation? Well, they know where you're coming from, 'cause they see where you've been, plundering and welcome to the new American century. 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 Thanks everyone for coming out. We've got one more song. This one's called Plenty of Fish. It's not about marine parks. If anyone wants a CD, I've got CDs over there. I'll be sitting on the stage afterwards. No t-shirts, no tea towels. Don't even ask. I did once do a show where I bought a box of my old t-shirts. Don't know if nobody wanted them.
Yeah, one of them I bought you, and you were giving it away. Cheeky bugger.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are plenty of fish left in the sea. You wouldn't say that to Captain Ahab. Why say it to me now? 'Cause I want the white one. Her poetry I don't forget. Don't say something dismissive now that you might regret. Now, I want the white one. This ghost upon my premises could be my guiding angel, could be my nemesis. Now, and I want the white one. No other spectre shines so bright, just like the full moon when it curses the stars light, they dim and fade. I want the white one. There are plenty of fish left in the sea. You wouldn't dare say that to Ahab. Why say it to me?
Soursob Bob.
Well, that's all we've got with the band. That's all we've rehearsed, ladies. But there is... I recorded a live CD here a long time ago. It's called, ironically, Live at the Wheaty. And we finished the set, and then Nigel Coop from Home for the Deaf, for some reason, called out, play Pizza Haven Enfield, which is a really stupid thing to do at the end. Oh, we'll do it again.
90s prices.
Yes, 90s prices on the pizzas, just like 90s prices on the door. I could have left with that, you know.
No, you got to finish with it.
All right, got to finish with a silly song. Just at Pizza Haven Enfield, we enjoy our deliveries. At Pizza Haven Enfield, all the friends you'll ever need. And when the customers ring up and ask, could you tell us what specials you have on, please? 2 large pizzas for $16.90, 2 regular pizzas for $12.90, 2 family pizzas for $23.90, 2 large pizzas garlic bread and coke for $19.90, 1 large pizza garlic bread and coke for $14.90, 2 regular pizzas garlic bread and coke for $15.90, the $8.90 pickup special. Is that enough specials for you, sir? Is that enough specials for you, sir? At Pizza Haven Enfield, it's service with a smile. At Pizza Haven Enfield, be it pan-fried or original style.